Chapter 145. Quick! Control this beast with all your might. The Saintess of the Setting Moon shouted. This was a very rare plan. If the time and space silver rat hadn't been injured or had its soul affected just now, under the influence of the time talent, she wouldn't have been able to hold it at all. At this time, the Sunset Moon Saintess locked the neck of the space-time silver rat and refused to let go. In terms of strength, the space-time silver rat wasn't strong. Its high-level golden retriever talent couldn't break the pseudo-mysterious level defense talent of the Sunset Moon Saintess, so it couldn't get rid of her at all. Yi Tian, who was not far away, was dumbfounded. This Sunset Moon Saintess truly abandoned the typical image of a saint. A beautiful woman actually made such a move. Wasn't she afraid of a sharp drop in her image? Yi Tian didn't sigh too much. Instead, he urged his high-level beast control talent with all his might and approached the space-time silver rat, constantly influencing it. Yaya! The space-time silver rat seemed to sense his command and even began to unleash its bloodline talent. Suddenly, the golden fur of the space-time silver rat exuded a terrifying cold glow, as if revealing the power of time and space. It's not good, Yi Tian. Get out of the way! The Saintess of the Evening Moon exclaimed. The momentum of the space-time silver rat, fueled by its bloodline power, greatly increased. Even the power of its golden retriever talent intensified, and the golden needles seemed to gain the ability to penetrate the void. The first person to be attacked by the golden retriever's talent was the Sunset Moon Holy Maiden. She had king-level extreme strength and a pseudo-mystic level talent, and her defense was much higher than Yi Tian's. Yet, she was still pierced by the golden needles, which had transformed from golden fur. She worried that Yi Tian wouldn't be able to withstand the power of the golden needle, so she subconsciously warned him. But she also knew that at such a close distance, it would be difficult for Yi Tian to dodge. In fact, Yi Tian could have dodged, even teleporting away. But he didn't, because these golden needles couldn't kill him. Puff, puff, puff. One by one, the golden needles pierced through Yi Tian. However, Yi Tian's top-level healing talent activated, and his body rapidly recovered. Even his pierced internal organs quickly healed. In fact, Yi Tian was secretly surprised. The golden retriever talent was only high-level, yet he hadn't expected it to become so terrifying when stimulated by the bloodline's power. It could only be said that the space-time silver rat's bloodline was exceptionally formidable, containing the power of time and space. Even a weak space-time power was enough to make its attack more terrifying, penetrating even Yi Tian's pseudo-mysterious level defense talent. The pseudo-mystical Vajra bone talent only covered his bones, and the golden needles couldn't pierce the Vajra bone. But the flesh and blood without the Vajra bone couldn't stop them. This time, it was a thrill. Soon, the space-time silver rat gradually lost its ability to resist. The soul light in the depths of its soul was slowly extracted by Yi Tian. Then, Yi Tian took out an empty brand, poured the soul light of the space-time silver rat into it, and created a simple beast control card. The Sunset Moon Saintess took the fierce beast control card from Yi Tian and refined it. It worked! The Sunset Moon Saintess, now controlling the space-time silver rat, was overjoyed. She immediately began to communicate with the space-time silver rat's mind. I don't know what the Sunset Moon Holy Maiden said to the time and space silver rat, but it soon yielded, completely obeying her orders, and willingly became a beast pet. Eat it! The Saintess of the Evening Moon fed the space-time silver rat a pill, and its injuries quickly recovered. Elixir! Yi Tian looked at the pill in the Sunset Moon Holy Maiden's hand and thought of a profession in his heart: alchemist. Alchemists, like array mages, needed alchemy talents. But alchemists were even rarer than array mages. Alchemists could make full use of medicinal materials to refine pills, which were many times stronger than the healing liquid produced by assembly lines. Yi Tian didn't plan to learn alchemy. People's time was limited. Even if he couldn't cover everything, if he truly involved himself in too many aspects, he would become mediocre. His real profession was a martial artist, and improving a martial artist's strength was the most important thing. Unless one day he had more time than he knew what to do with, perhaps he would then consider studying alchemy. After a while, the space-time silver rat was almost fully recovered and honestly followed behind the Sunset Moon Saintess. It's time to leave, the Sunset Moon Saintess said. What reward do you want? The third-class top-level Yuan Force cultivation secret technique, the top-level cultivation room, or money. Or even other treasures? You name it. If I think I can, I'll give it to you. The holy maiden of the evening moon was in a very good mood. She didn't limit Yi Tian to specific treasures. After all, Yi Tian had helped immensely this time and had even been in near fatal danger. If it weren't for Yi Tian's talent for recovery, he might truly have been carried away. She didn't ask why Yi Tian easily recovered from such an injury, but she remembered his contribution. Third-ranked top-level Yuan Force cultivation secret technique. Yi Tian stated the reward he wanted. Do you really want this? Asked the Sunset Moon Maiden. Yes, Yi Tian replied in the affirmative. Here, the Saintess of the Evening Moon casually threw out a secret book. This is a second-class top-level Yuan Force cultivation secret technique that I accidentally obtained, called the Qingyuan Yuan Force secret technique, which is 4 times more effective than the high-level Yuan Force forging body secret technique. Didn't you say the third-ranked top-level Yuan Force cultivation secret technique? Why did you give me such a precious second-ranked top-level Yuan Force cultivation secret technique? Yi Tian was surprised. The Holy Maiden of the Evening Moon said, because this mission almost put someone in a death crisis, I don't want to owe you. Besides, I don't really lose anything by sending a cheap book away. Thank you. Yi Tian thanked her. Let's go. The Holy Maiden of the Evening Moon said softly. The group left the secret realm and returned to the Zhonghai super base. After entering the base, Yi Tian separated from them. Back home, Yi Tian couldn't help but laugh alone for a long time. The harvest this time was so rich, it was just a bargain for nothing. He gained a pseudo-arcane level speed talent, an elementary time talent, and a second-class Yuan Force cultivation secret art. Today is truly my lucky day. Yi Tian sighed deeply. Without another word, Yi Tian began to fuse the pseudo-mystery level speed talent. Rumble. The fusion began. 10 minutes later, Yi Tian's speed talent changed. Speed talent, pseudo-arcane, Ise. After successful fusion, Yi Tian sensed a mysterious power in the dark, the mystery of speed. He perfectly controlled the mystery of speed, as if he had personally comprehended it. 60% defense mysteries, 1% speed mysteries. I also master 2 kinds of arcane powers. It's a pity that the pseudo-mystical level Vajra bone talent, the pseudo-mystical level strength talent, and the pseudo-mystical level blood-devouring talent haven't been able to comprehend the power of the mysteries, which is equivalent to 0%. Otherwise, I would have mastered 5 mysteries. Forget it, I'll just directly copy other people's pseudo-mystical talents in the future. Yi Tian muttered to himself. Then, he began to merge the coveted meaning of time. Fusion. The power of the time talent began to merge into Yi Tian's soul and body, and a special, uncomfortable feeling came over him. It was not only painful but also very awkward. It was the power of time that affected Yi Tian. 10 minutes later, the fusion was over. Yi Tian couldn't help but take a deep breath, and his clothes were completely soaked with sweat. Did I succeed? Yi Tian hurriedly checked his talent. It was only when he saw the talent for time that he breathed a sigh of relief. Time talent, elementary. Chapter 146. I wonder what the effect of the primary time talent is? Yi Tian was very curious. Consciousness communicated with the imprint of the time talent, and he soon learned its specific effects. There are 3 effects of the elementary time talent: time perception, time acceleration, and time slowing down. Time perception allows one to perceive the passage of time in a place. This might seem useless, but in some special places where the passage of time differs, this ability is very useful. It prevents you from stepping into a place where time passes very slowly, thinking only a few days have gone by, while relatively, decades have passed in the outside world. Time acceleration is the acceleration of time in an area. The primary speed talent can only speed up by up to 3 times, and similarly, it can only slow down by a factor of 3. If it's used in battle, slowing down the opponent's area for 3 times the duration is equivalent to slowing down the opponent's thinking, reactions, and speed by 3 times, which is a terrible thing. Time acceleration can also shine in battle, speeding up the area around you for 3 times the duration, which is equivalent to thinking, speed, and reaction 3 times faster than others. But the real effect of time acceleration isn't this. It's primarily used for cultivation. Accelerating my cultivation by 3 times, my cultivation for 3 days is equivalent to 1 day of cultivation for others. Wouldn't my cultivation speed be able to increase by 3 times? Moreover, this time I have obtained the second-class top-level yuan force cultivation secret technique, and I can increase the effect by 4 times. So, if I say that, wouldn't my cultivation speed be out of this world? Yi Tian exclaimed. So, he couldn't help but start studying the Qingyuan yuan force secret technique. It took half a day to finally fully understand the Qingyuan yuan force secret technique, so he began to cultivate. Time accelerates. Yi Tian turned on 3x time acceleration, but he soon discovered a problem. Unless he has the time formation blueprint, he can only use his own power to activate the time talent to gain 3 times the time. Cultivation can replenish strength, but in this way, it won't achieve the effect of tripling the increase. Yi Tian frowned. Moreover, there's also a disadvantage to activating triple time. His lifespan will be consumed 3 times faster. However, this problem isn't significant. Yi Tian's lifespan is as high as 800 years, and he's still very young now, so he's not afraid of triple life consumption. Subsequently, Yi Tian cultivated the Qingyuan yuan force secret technique. A day later, Yi Tian sensed it and found that his cultivation speed had actually only increased by 8 times. The original 3 times time acceleration, plus the 4 times effect of the second-class top-level yuan force cultivation secret technique, would theoretically be a 12 times effect. However, because he needed to consume heaven and earth yuan qi to make up for the consumption of his own strength, the cultivation effect was sharply reduced to 8 times. But even so, a cultivation speed that was 8 times faster than before was enough to astonish the world. Originally, I could add 45 acupuncture points a month, but now it has increased by 8 times. Isn't it? Yi Tian laughed. It would only take less than a month for him to be promoted to the ultimate king level. He was afraid that no one in the entire Zhonghai superbase had a faster cultivation speed than him. Cultivate to the ultimate king level and then go out. Yi Tian set a small goal. In the blink of an eye, more than 20 days passed. This day, Yi Tian ended his retreat, and immediately withdrew the time acceleration ability. My body strength has reached the power of 10,000 Vientian at the extreme of the king level. There's no way to improve it anymore, and my body speed has also increased many times. Coupled with the pseudo-mystery level speed talent, my speed is the same as that of the Sunset Moon Saint King. Yi Tian muttered. According to Yi Tian's previous calculations, his attack power reached 7.2 dragon power. Now, there were only 2 ways for him to increase his attack power and break the Tomahawk Emperor's attack power record at the king level. One was to cultivate gold-level sword skills. This was more difficult. Gold-level sword skills were definitely top-secret items in the Zhonghai superbase. Even if he had the opportunity to trade from the bigwigs of the Scattered Cultivation Alliance, he had no capital to trade. The second method was to copy a pseudo-arcane level strength talent. This method was quite simple. There must be pseudo-arcane level strength talents in the Zhonghai superbase. The Tomahawk Emperor was one of them, but the Tomahawk Emperor wasn't necessarily in the Zhonghai superbase. If you wanted to copy his talent, it depended on luck. Let's copy someone else's. The top ones on the king list must have pseudo-mystery level strength talents, Yi Tian guessed. Thereupon, in the next few days, Yi Tian began to inquire about the whereabouts of the top kings on the king list. 5 days later, news came out that Qin Zhanshan, who ranked second on the king list, was in the God of War Tower at the moment, and he had already entered it for 2 days. Yi Tian, who got the news, immediately rushed to the God of War Tower, hiding in the crowd and waiting silently. He believed that it was impossible for Qin Zhanshan to stay in the God of War Tower for a long time. The other party would definitely go to the God of War monument. Could it be that the other party's points were enough to live there? Sure enough, on the 4th day, Qin Zhanshan came out and was spotted by Yi Tian. At this time, Yi Tian's copying talent cooldown period had ended, and he was able to copy again. The copying talent shrouded Qin Zhanshan, and the other party's talent was revealed. Human, Qin Zhanshan. Cultivation talent, Morning Star. Strength talent, Pseudo-Arcane, 50%. Marksmanship talents, Medium. Defense talent, Pseudo-Arcane, 20%. Speed talent, Pseudo-Arcane, Issei. Hiss. Yi Tian truly gasped. Qin Zhanshan's cultivation talent wasn't high. It was only the morning level, and not as good as the radiant moon level of the sunset moon holy maiden. But his other talents were too abnormal. 3 pseudo-arcane level talents, and they were also 3 basic talents: speed, strength, and defense. There was no flaw at all, and there was even a medium marksmanship talent. If the opponent's marksmanship talent had been top-notch, it would have been enough to break the Tomahawk Emperor's attack power record. It was a pity that the other party failed to improve his marksmanship talent. Such a talent is definitely not innate. It should be acquired, but I don't know how much it cost. Qin Zhanshan seems to be the grandson of the founder of the Qin sect, the grandson of a top emperor, and his own talent is very good, so he has cultivated to become the second on today's king list. It's a pity that his Morningstar talent can't be improved. It seems that even the Zhonghai Superbase can't improve his cultivation talent above the Morningstar level. Yi Tian said with emotion. Fortunately, he had a talent for copying. Any talent could be copied, and cultivation talent could also be copied. Such an advantage was something no other genius possessed. Copy the pseudo-arcane talent, copy the defense talent. Yi Tian copied Qin Zhanshan's 2 talents in a row, and then left the God of War Tower and returned home. Fusion of pseudo-arcane level strength talents. Yi Tian fused the pseudo-mystic level strength talent with great anticipation. Soon, the fusion ended. Strength talent, pseudo-armagend, 50. Yi Tian tested it, and the 50% pseudo-mystic level strength talent increased his strength by 40 times. Chapter 147. Yi Tian calculated his strongest attack power. His physical strength was 10,000 times the power of 10,000 elephants, 20,000 times after the increase of yuan power, 40 times the increase of 50% pseudo-arcane level strength talent, and 12 times the superposition of the heavenly pole slash. In this way, his attack power reached 9.6 million Vientiane power, which is equivalent to 9.6 dragon power. It's broken. Yi Tian was very excited. He finally broke the record of the strongest attack left by the Tomahawk Emperor when he was at the king level, and as long as he went to the God of War Tower to test it, he would be rewarded with points. If I copy the pseudo-arcane defense talent again, I might even be able to break the record of the strongest defense. Yi Tian said expectantly. Thereupon, he began to fuse the 20% of the pseudo-arcane level defensive talents that he had copied from Qin Zhanshan. Rumble. The replication was on. 10 minutes later, the fusion ended, and Yi Tian's defensive talent changed again. Defense talent, pseudo-arcane, 70%. The defensive talent had changed from 60% pseudo-arcane level, previously written incorrectly, has been modified, to 70% pseudo-arcane level, and the defense ability had been greatly increased. Yi Tian tested it. His defense ability increased by 60 times, and his simple body defense was enough to resist the power of 1.2 million elephants, that is, the power of 1.2 dragons, without being hit hard. If he added the pseudo-mystic level Vajra bone talent, he should be able to resist the power of 1.8 dragons without being hit hard. The pseudo-defensive talent is still a little weaker. I'll go and break the strongest attack record first and get some points. Then, I'll go to the War God Tower again, break the 6th layer, and get some more points. Yi Tian planned. So, Yi Tian came to the God of War Tower again. Let's go to the 6th floor of the God of War Tower first. Yi Tian thought for a while and said. Thereupon, his soul had once again come to the 6th layer of the God of War Tower, and the black-clothed warrior who was originally incredibly fast in his eyes was now very slow. Die. Yi Tian made only one sword strike and killed the other party in 1 second. He broke through the 6th floor. 32 points in hand. Outside the Ares Tower, Yi Tian broke through the 6th layer, and his ranking rose instantly, suddenly rushing to the 33rd place. This was because there were originally 32 people who had broken through the 6th layer, and with Yi Tian, it became 33. Oh my god, Yi Tian has passed the 6th layer and been promoted to 33rd place. It's incredible, unbelievable. How powerful is Yi Tian's talent? He must not have opened up many acupoints before, so every time he improves an acupoint, his strength rises sharply. This time, it must be a big increase in cultivation, and his strength has soared a lot, and he has only just passed the 6th layer. In this way, He challenged the God of War tower before and just broke through to the king level not long ago? I'm afraid so. This is a real demon. Tell me, can he break through the 7th layer? There are only 6 geniuses on the 7th layer of our Zhonghai Grand Base. Maybe he'll be the 7th. Breaking through the 7th floor? What are you kidding? Absolutely impossible. Just as these people were arguing and discussing, Yi Tian came to the 7th layer. Inside the God of War tower, 7th floor. Yi Tian was fighting the black-clothed warrior. The speed of the 7th layer black-clothed martial artist was not weaker than Yi Tian's, but his strength was much worse. Yi Tian's attack power had broken the record of the Battle Axe Emperor. Who could compare with his attack power? Therefore, the black-clothed warrior was soon killed by Yi Tian. He beat the 7th floor and received 64 points. Then, Yi Tian was faced with a difficult problem. Did he want to break through to the 8th layer? He was sure he could break through the 8th layer, because he also had the talents of space and time, and it wouldn't be difficult. But doing so would definitely cause a major earthquake in the Zhonghai superbase. Forget it, I'll keep a low profile. If I had a big backer behind me, I would definitely go to the 8th layer, but now there's no need at all. Anyway, I'm not too eager for the God of War monument, it's just used to comprehend the sword intent. And now I don't have gold-level sword skills, so there's no need to be so anxious to cultivate the sword intent to the consummation level. Thinking like this, Yi Tian temporarily gave up breaking into the 8th layer. He just left the virtual world, checked his points, but found that his points had reached 198 points. What's the matter? Didn't I get 98 points after I passed the 5th and 6th layers? Why did it become 198 points? Yi Tian was very curious. Machine spirit, why did my points become 198? Yi Tian asked the machine spirit. The machine spirit replied truthfully. The God of War tower detected that your attack power had broken the strongest record, and automatically refreshed the record, gaining 100 points. I see, Yi Tian suddenly realized. Immediately, he clicked on the record of the strongest attack, and it really showed him. King level strongest attack record. 9.6 Dragon Power, Creator, Yi Tian. Looking at this record, Yi Tian felt very comfortable in his heart. However, the outside world was completely boiling because Yi Tian had broken through the 7th layer and ranked 7th on the list of kings. In an instant, all the major forces knew Yi Tian's achievements. Many forces wanted to win over Yi Tian, and some even wanted to forcibly ask Yi Tian to join their ranks. But at this time, several great emperors of the Scattered Cultivation Alliance intervened and asked them not to make small moves. What were they kidding? A 7-star king-level genius finally appeared in the Scattered Cultivation, and his cultivation speed was very fast. Maybe his talent was Huihui level. The first 7-star king level of the Scattered Cultivation Alliance was only the Morning Star, and it was difficult to step into the Great Emperor level, so he couldn't actually help the Scattered Cultivation Alliance expand its influence. Yi Tian was very likely to lead the Scattered Cultivation Alliance to gain a lot of right to speak. So, they wanted to tie Yi Tian to the side of the Scattered Cultivation Alliance, and naturally, they wouldn't allow other forces to snatch him. Moon God Sect. The Holy Maiden of the Sunset Moon was playing with the silver rat when suddenly a maid came. Holy Maiden, something is wrong. The maid hurriedly said. What's the big deal? The Holy Maiden of the Setting Moon frowned. Holy Maiden, what do you see? The maid handed a piece of information to the Holy Maiden of the Setting Moon. When the Sunset Moon Holy Maiden saw the content of the information, she was immediately stunned. This is impossible. We only met Yi Tian a month ago. His strength was not as good as mine. How can he reach the 7-star king level combat power? Even I have just stepped into the 6-star king level combat power. Miss, what if Yi Tian hid his strength, deliberately let the space-time silver rat hurt him, and won the favor of the saint? The maid pouted. The Holy Maiden of the Setting Moon frowned. This was really possible, but the next moment, she smiled slightly. We haven't lost anything. Besides, we used a second-class top-level Yuan Force cultivation secret technique to ask a 7-star king level to make a move. If it were someone else, could we do it? The maid immediately shook her head. What a genius is a 7-star king level. They wouldn't even consider a second-class top-level Yuan Force cultivation secret technique. They basically have a first-class top-level Yuan Force cultivation secret technique. Yes, but Yi Tian is a genuine 7-star king level, even if he has just reached it. We won't lose anything. Even if it was to win sympathy, being able to make friends with such a genius is only good for us, so don't complain. Holy maiden, I see. The maid nodded. However, what the maid didn't see was the envy in the heart of the saintess of the setting moon. That's a 7-star king. Even the moon god sect couldn't cultivate her to the 7-star king level, and being able to cultivate her to the 6-star king level had already consumed a lot of resources. However, I have a space-time silver rat. I didn't expect it to be a fierce beast with 2 supreme talents in time and space. As long as I cultivate it well, it will definitely be my greatest help. Thinking like this, the holy maiden of the evening moon did not envy Yi Tian. If she knew that Yi Tian also had the 2 supreme talents of time and space, I'm afraid she would be even more envious in her heart, and even jealous. Chapter 148. In a certain tower gate in the Zhonghai Superbase, Wang Yan looked at the information that had just come in and was completely stunned. This was the second time she had received information about Yi Tian, but each time she was more and more shocked. Not long ago, when Yi Tian became 62nd on the list of kings, she almost couldn't believe it. She could only think that Yi Tian's talent was too strong. But she didn't expect that so little time had passed and Yi Tian actually had a 7-star king level combat power, which was completely beyond her expectations. Until now, she even thought there was something wrong with this information, but after many inquiries, the authenticity of this information was finally determined. 7-star king level? That opportunity is just right for him, and it's useless for me to keep it. And Yi Tian is an outsider. He has no backing in the Zhonghai Superbase, and he definitely can't get that opportunity alone. If he gives him that opportunity, it will definitely be a big favor. Wang Yan muttered. When Yi Tian comes out of the God of War Tower, I'll go find him. Wang Yan's eyes were firm. She had already decided. The Tower of the God of War. Yi Tian broke through the 7th layer, and the machine spirit suddenly said to Yi Tian, Yi Tian, you have broken through the 7th layer, and anyone who has passed the 6th layer of the God of War Tower can become an official member of the God of War Tower, and can enjoy privileges that ordinary kings do not have. Full member? Yi Tian was a little curious. Do you have any authority? Ji Ling said, due to the mutilation of the God of War Tower, many functions have been lost, and now there are only 2 permissions, the God of War Ring and membership points. The God of War Ring is a special treasure that allows people to enter the virtual world to fight again and again, hone their combat skills, and even test their attack power, speed, defense, and so on. As long as you are not 1,000,000 kilometers away from the God of War Tower, you can use the God of War Ring. Membership points are the benefits of official members. You can receive 1 point every month, which can be accumulated. And such a good thing? Yi Tian was surprised. Not to mention the usefulness of the God of War Ring. You can enter the virtual world to fight at any time, and you can also detect attack power, etc., which is completely convenient. And the benefit of 1 point a month, this is also very cool. You can accumulate 12 points in a year, and you can fully comprehend in front of the God of War monument for 12 days. After all, it's an additional reward. Who wouldn't want it? And Yi Tian also learned one thing from the mouth of the machine spirit, that the God of War Tower is broken. The God of War Tower that looks very normal on the outside is actually broken. If it wasn't broken, wouldn't it be even more powerful? If it's a complete God of War Tower, wouldn't the benefits of full membership be even better? Yi Tian fantasized, but it's good enough to be able to get such benefits now, and it's not good to be too greedy. Machine spirit, I want to enter the space of the God of War monument. Yi Tian said. After teleporting into the space of the God of War monument, Yi Tian began to comprehend the sword intent. In the blink of an eye, a month has passed. This day, Yi Tian opened his eyes. It's too difficult. A month ago, my sword intent was 70%, but now it's only 75%. I'm afraid I have to spend all the points to be able to barely comprehend 80% sword intent. He didn't continue his meditation but left. This time, when he went out, he not only wanted to copy 2 good talents but also wanted to find a gold-level sword technique, otherwise his high sword intent realm would be wasted. Walking out of the God of War Tower, Yi Tian walked in the direction of home, and along the way, he kept using his copying talent to check the talents of the people around him, but he didn't see any very good talents. Back at home, Yi Tian was preparing to cook something delicious. Suddenly, someone came to visit. "It's you." Yi Tian was a little surprised when he saw Wang Yan standing outside the villa. "Won't you invite me in and sit down?" Wang Yan asked. "Please." Yi Tian hurriedly invited her. He was still grateful to Wang Yan. The other party gave him the turtle breath technique, which saved him a lot of trouble at the beginning, and also gave him some introduction to the Zhonghai super base. Although it wasn't of much value, it allowed him to understand the Zhonghai super base as soon as possible. That was human favor. "Yi Tian, you surprised me. You have a 7-star king-level combat power in a short period of time. I thought it was fake news when I heard it." Wang Yan said with a smile. "It's just a little bit better." Yi Tian said modestly. "It's not better, it's much better." Wang Yan covered her mouth and said, but her tone was not too in awe of Yi Tian, and she didn't seem to care much about Yi Tian's 7-star king-level status. If it were an ordinary king level facing Yi Tian, they would have trembled a long time ago. How could they speak so easily? "Yi Tian, do you know why there are so many king-level individuals on the king-level list? Many of those king-level cultivators have grown to the extreme of king-level, and there are many morning-level cultivators among them. Morning-star cultivators, especially those who have forged a perfect foundation, can easily enter the saint level, but they have stayed at the king level. Do you know why?" Wang Yan suddenly asked. Yi Tian was silent for a few seconds, shook his head, and said, "I don't know." In fact, he had thought about this question before, but he hadn't focused on it. Now that he thought about it, it was a significant problem. For example, the Sunset Moon Holy Maiden, who had been famous for a long time and had a Huihui level cultivation talent, it would be too simple for her to become a saint level. She could easily break the bottleneck and be promoted to the saint level. But the Holy Maiden of the Setting Moon had always remained at the royal level, which was very strange. There are several reasons. One is the problem of the number of talents. Even if it's a genius who has cast a perfect foundation, once they enter the holy level, it's difficult to increase their talent through treasures. For example, some geniuses who don't have speed talents might want to use treasures to increase them, and so on. Therefore, true geniuses want to make up for their talent defects before the holy level and try to have all 3 basic talents. But the treasures that increase talent are too rare, and most of them are treasures that increase primary or secondary talents. Many geniuses don't consider such talents rare enough. The second reason is the mysteries. You should also comprehend the mysteries, so I don't know how many mysteries you have comprehended. But even if you comprehend the mysteries, many geniuses' talents are only pseudo-mystical level talents, and it's difficult to be promoted to true mystical talents. Once you have an arcane level talent, you can control the power of the law, and this kind of mystery is called the law arcane, and its power is far greater than that of the pseudo-arcane level talent. It is rumored that when the king level is promoted to the holy level, the soul will undergo a transformation, and comprehension will increase many times at this point. Therefore, those true geniuses wanted to do everything possible to comprehend the pseudo-mystic level talent to the 70% realm, so they stayed at the king level. Wang Yan explained, "That's what happened." Yi Tian suddenly realized, this secret might be common knowledge among the high-level officials of the Zhonghai Superbase or some top geniuses, but it hadn't been widely spread. Ordinary king-level people didn't know about it at all, and he didn't have any background, so naturally no one told him about it. "Sister Wang, why are you telling me this?" Yi Tian was puzzled. Wang Yan smiled and said, "Yi Tian, when I first saw you, I thought you were an apprentice taken in by an old monster. But after thinking about it, I felt that you weren't, because you know very little about knowledge. If you were really accepted as an apprentice by an old monster, it's impossible for them not to teach you these common sense. When you were promoted to the powerhouse of the king list in a short period of time, I was even more sure that you weren't accepted as an apprentice by an old monster, because your talent is too high. If you were really accepted as an apprentice, the other party would definitely do their best to help you step into the saint level, and I wouldn't dare to let you leave when you just entered the king level. At this stage of the king level, without guidance, it's easy to go the wrong way, such as what I just told you. If you don't know, maybe you will rashly hit the saint level and lose a chance to upgrade to the mystery level talent. You don't have a background, you lack opportunities, and I can invest in you. Now there's a great opportunity, and I think you need it. I wonder if you are willing to give me the opportunity to invest in you?"